Spring is in the air, the green grasses are starting to pop up, and it's time to get after some bears. With some good sized bears on our baits, we're going to go through some steps on how you can set up your bear bait and what's worked for us on the Homegrown Hunter. Adventures in the outdoors are to be embraced, passed down to our children to enjoy the bounty that Mother Nature has to offer in its organic form. As the seasons pass, the pursuit of our quarry changes, and we as hunters gather to celebrate the success of our hunt. Learning from our mistakes and teaching our children. We cannot always build their future, but we can build the youth for the future. That is what the Homegrown Hunter is all about. Welcome as we share our experiences, our lessons, and our good eats.
Homegrown Hunter TV is brought to you by Rack Stacker, Canada's leader in big game attractants. Gambleford Chrysler, a small town dealer with a huge inventory. And Huckabones Equipment, Ottawa Valley's Kubah dealer. Altan Outdoor Solutions, Badlands Packs and Apparel. Bishop Lake Outdoors, Spy Point Trail Cameras. First Place Trailers, the original portable winch. And these other fine partners.
Ashley and I have been backpacking our bear bait into a spot that has been very productive for us over the years. This is a very secluded location. Before starting any baits, it's always important to check your cameras first. The trail camera was telling us that it's been very active. I'm going to go through the steps to build what I call the roller barrel. Using black bear munchies from Rack Stacker has proven to be a successful way to keep bears active during the day and frequently visiting your sites. You can see that we bring a lot of bear bait into the site, and we do this weekly using our Badlands backpacks. They work great for backpacking into the bush. You don't get too many 15-year-old girls that will carry 60 plus pounds on their back and hike more than a mile into the bush, where the bears are. Ashton is certainly a big helping hand. Now, this is just one method that I've used for a couple of years now. It's a very small hole. Eventually, over time, they're going to tear that open, but right now, they just reach in and grab the morsels. There's 4 pounds of sugar in every bag. It's mixed with molasses, some coconut flavoring, corn, oats, barley. It's got a high protein coconut pellet in it. Absolutely awesome. Bears will come here day in and day out and try to fatten up. It only takes a couple minutes. You fill that barrel up with 1 or 2 bags, and then they can't eat it all and take off on you. It's like a tantalizing morsel, and if Logan was here, he'd be tasting it just to show you exactly how good it is. Black Bear Munchies is a product that I have worked on for several years, and it's a sweet granola mixture that has a strong aroma to it. While I'm spreading some bacon grease on the trees, Ashton has been spreading some bear slop on nearby logs. This will encourage the bears to come around, giving a more opportune shot. I was playing around and sprayed some It Takes Guts on Ashton, and I was running for the road. I'm only kidding. We're now going to hang up a jug of molasses slop wired to the tree. Make sure that it's tight. You want to make sure he doesn't take the garbage into the bush. However, he will eat the molasses from the jug. This can hopefully allow you a chance to identify if it's a sow or a boar when they sit down in front of it.
This is Outdoor Country, and this is Help Out Your Neighbor Country. Hi, I'm Tom Wallace from Campbellford Chrysler, where we support Homegrown Hunter TV. We believe in our local community. We're committed to our customers. We take our vehicles as seriously as you do your hunting. We're here to make you look good and get through that rough terrain. If we don't have the new or used vehicle you're looking for, we'll get it at the price that will keep you coming back. Come home to the small town dealership with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Campbellford Chrysler, Grand Road South. Proud supporter of Homegrown Hunter TV.
You prepare for it all year long with the intent to fill your tag. Strategy, setup, and long sits are all part of the game. And when Mother Nature settles in for the late season, it's important to be comfortable. Not even her elements can stop you from obtaining your end goal. Don't jeopardize that opportunity. Get yourself into an Altan ground blind or tree stand. Altan Outdoors, your first front in the hunt.
I'd like to give you a bit of a rundown on how I normally set up my black bear baits and how we set up what we call the roller barrel. What I normally do on my setup is get a heavy duty eyelet with threaded rod, and you're going to drill a hole through the top of the lid. Then what you want to do is take two nuts, just basic nuts, use adjustable wrenches to lock them tight together, then slide in a washer. That goes through the top of the hole. So now that you got your lid, take your second washer, slide that on. Take another nut, just a basic nut, screw that in. You want to go relatively close to the other ones. Go to the depth that you want, but like I said, give yourself about a ½ an inch between the two so it can spin. That's ultimately what you want the barrel to do. Then take your locking nut, screw it in. Take your adjustable wrench underneath the bottom one, and you want these to sit as tight together as possible. So crank them tight, and that way they're not going to come loose as that bear is knocking it around. It's now time to pay attention to the side of the barrel. I used to put like 2-3 inch holes and a bunch of them around the barrel, but what I found is that you're running a bait super fast. So you want the hole 2/3 up and nothing down here. And the reason being is when you get to fill in this barrel, you don't want the coons to sit there picking at it all day long before the bears actually knock it over. So if you put your holes 2/3 of the way up, they're not able to do that. You're gonna want 2 of them. I'm gonna do one right now and I'll spin it 180 degrees. As you can see, it's not a very big hole. You don't want it too big because too much food will fall out. You want that bear to stick around. I'll spin her 180 degrees and do it on the opposite side. There, that's all you really want, because now the bears are going to come out during daylight hours and give you more opportunity to harvest them. So small holes, 2/3 up, you'll be a lot better shape and hold your bait a lot longer through the week. Now I've seen guys chain up barrels with heavy duty chains to a tree because they're afraid the bear is going to break it. But honestly, I just use nylon rope. There's nothing else needed. I've used this method for about 10 years now and had plenty of 400-pound bears come in. Honestly, all they want to do is get the food out of the barrel. Eventually, over 4 or 5 years, this barrel is going to get destroyed. And you can use steel barrels to last longer. But what I find is those real big bears end up jumping on it like we did at DOA Outfitters there a couple years ago. And they end up bending the barrel and buckling it. And it does make a ton of noise. It creates a lot of creativity for other bears to come into the site. But I find these are lighter, easier to get into the site, easier to handle, and you know when they're empty, you can pick them up real light and throw some more in, and they last longer in my opinion. But if you want to use a steel barrel, you can do the same method. So use nylon. We're going to tie this to the tree at about 15 to 20 feet in length, and then as that barrel is rolling around, small amounts of food are going to come out. Now we're going to try and get Ashlyn's first bear. She sprayed some It Takes Guts on the trees and got back into the stand. Stay away from the paint. There's two bears coming in. One's a decent boar. One I believe to be a sow. They're obviously in a rut right now. But they're coming into our bait regularly. Spy Point Trail Camera sent us pictures yesterday. We should have been hunting at 7:30 because they were here. Anyhow, they were here at the 5:30 and 6 o'clock this morning. So we're expecting them to come back. Vermicell, baby. Vermicell. It wasn't very long and we had spotted black in the trees to our right. It looked to be the sow that we had had on our bait regularly, as you can see from the brown muzzle on her. Not long after, this guy walked in.
Located in Cloyne, Ontario, Bishop Lake Outdoors is the largest Browning gun and accessory dealer in the area. Bishop Lake Outdoors has a large selection of guns to choose from, including rifles, muzzle loaders, shotguns, and it's the area's only authorized Excalibur dealer. Celebrating 20 years in business serving the community. Stop in and see the staff at Bishop Lake Outdoors. Centrally located between Toronto and Ottawa is Eastern Ontario's premier supplier of all-purpose cargo trailers. At First Place, we sell specialty trailers such as car haulers, quad trailers, snowmobile trailers, or customize your own by coming to see us for all your accessory needs. We also specialize in the complete stealth lineup, located just south of the 401 in Brighton, Ontario. Visit firstplacetrailer.ca.
While I had focused on laying down the film, I was trying to encourage Ashlyn to get the gun to her shoulder. She was pretty shook up. Being that the bear was only 18 yards, I tried my best to settle her down, but she was froze solid. That's a big boar. Ashlyn was just getting the gun up to get a shot, and he ended up walking away. But that little female's over here. So I'm confident they'll be back. It's only 6:30. The only other thing we had seen that night was a jujube-eating raccoon.
And now, this week's Cut to the Chase segment, brought to you by Rack Stacker.
When it comes to picking a spot to hunt bears, I look for a really thick cover of mixed hardwoods and evergreen. Then tie that in next to a swamp and you have yourself a hot spot. You can use the swamp in your favor by working the wind. Let me explain. Let's say this was a spot to hunt. Just looking at the lay of the land, I would want to put my stand right here. And then I would have the bait in the direction of a predominant wind for two reasons. Hunting a north wind, the wind could be blowing in your face from the bait and your scent would be casted behind you over the swamp. The bears are least likely to head from that location. For two, I would enter the site along the swamp into the stand without crossing through any potential spots that the bears will be. Of course, being thick and dense in the bush, you're going to get more evening light into this location because of the swamp being open, allowing you more opportunity to shoot as it gets darker.
Closed captioning has been brought to you by the original portable winch. Compact, lightweight, and can be carried anywhere.
Now I'm going to take out a new bear hunter named Tristan Snip. You may recall him hunting rabbits with me back on episode 2, when he shot his rabbit only just a few yards away.
You get that on camera?
Good job, buddy. That was awesome. Right over the shoulder. Well, after seeing his shooting ability, I invited him to come on up for his first bear hunt. On his first sit, he had this bear come in. Can you see that the bear presents a lot of good shot angles? But as Tristan was a new bear hunter, he wasn't quite sure on how to judge the bear. For his first sit, having the opportunity right away, I'm sure he was shook up a bit as well. He was patient, took his time to analyze the situation, and just flat out soaked in the experience. It's not very often a kid from Windsor in Ontario gets to hunt bear, let alone see one on his first sit. That first night he came out with a big smile on his face, yet I encouraged him to shoot it if it comes out next time.
Spy Point Trail Cameras, the official trail camera of the Homegrown Hunter TV and the Rack Stacker Elite staff. Huckabone's equipment in Cobden, Ontario, has received multiple excellence awards for service, quality, and selection. When it comes to Kubota equipment in the Ottawa Valley, Huckabone's is your go-to. You can rely on Kubota to get the job done year-round. From excavators, lawnmowers, to compact tractors, Huckabones goes the distance to ensure customer satisfaction. Be sure to check out huckabones.com to see their full line of quality equipment.
Since Rack Stacker's inception in 2007, we've been North America's leading big game mineral. With spring just around the corner, we're in full production with our customer favorites, Blaze, Glory, Stacked, and Heavyweight for whitetail deer, elk, and moose. With near instant results, you could be using Rack Stacker to increase your game population on your property.
And this is Rack Stacker.
Visit rackstacker.ca for all product details and retail outlets across the continent. The second day of Tristan's bear hunt, he's seen the bear that he had out the day before. This time, he was ready to shoot. He was shooting my .50 caliber muzzleloader that I had sighted in at 100 yards. Being that the bear was only 18 yards away, I had told him to shoot a little low. Let's see how this unfolds.
That munchie's so bad, man.
Tristan was going to wait in the stand while I went to get him. Another bear had made its way in before dark. You can see how comfortable they get with the roller barrel after time. As this bear was mingling around, I was texting Tristan that I was on my way in, and that I was going to refreshen the bait site while I was there. This is something I have found works really well because I'm already there making a bunch of noise. Even though I'm chopping through the bush. Unfortunately, we were unable to recover that bear. I'd like to slow the frames down and show you what we've learned from the camera. First, you'll see that the bear bites down towards the ground when he gets hit. When a bear is fatally hit, they often dart away really quickly. Yet this bear throws his left leg up into the air and starts biting at it. As he rolls, he continues to bite at his left leg. If you've ever seen bears fight, they often jump up on their hind legs and bite at each other, similar to what he's doing right now when he's rolling. I have reason to believe that he'd hit too low and hit him in the leg. Partially my fault, as I told him to shoot low. For finding your proper shot placement on a bear, draw a line on the leg and shoot tight to the shoulder and mid-body when shooting a gun. Again, archery is completely different. All the vitals are tucked up tight into the shoulders. Now, as it turns out, we took Tristan up to KB Lodge later in the fall, and the Watsons were able to get Tristan his second chance at a bear. This time, it doesn't go more than a yard.
He didn't look at me once. I smoked him. He didn't go a yard. He's down right there.
For past episodes, be sure to check out hghtv.ca. Until next time.